Well, with those reports of shootings on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, there are denials of responsibility from Iran and the US. Our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, is here with more. Good to see you, Philip. So is the situation one of confusion now?
I think that is probably the word which best sums it up for most observers right now. All of this has taken a step, I think, for some in the wrong direction since Donald Trump announced Project Freedom. Basically, what he wants to do is to help some 900 or so commercial vessels that are stuck in the Strait of Hormuz that can't get out. Many are saying they've got no drinking water, they're running out of food, they just want to get home. They've got nothing to do with the war. Some come from, many of them come from Asia, Southeast Asia, and they just want to be guided out and let go home and to end their mission. They can't do that with the Strait of Hormuz being blocked. So that's why Donald Trump wants to help them through being guided by US forces. That has angered the Iranians. We've had this sort of tit-for-tat retaliation over the past few hours. We don't really know who's telling the truth about what. The US military saying it's fired on Iranian forces, sinking 6 small Iranian boats. The Iranians say that's not true. Only 2 boats were sunk, but 5 civilians were killed. The US said that 2 American flagged merchant ships had successfully transited the strait on Monday. That was something that Iran has also denied. And the Danish transporter, the cargo ship transporter Maersk, said one of its ships had transited through the Strait of Hormuz under US escort. So there are ships getting through. The problem is this is not enough to bring the situation back to normal. When you're talking about 70 ships or more going through the Strait of Hormuz every day, this is just a little trickle of ships going through. So it's not going to help the markets. As we were just hearing in that report, the price of Brent crude has gone up again. I think there's a lot of concern here in France about the way petrol prices at the pumps are going up all the time. There's not a day when there are not reports on the radio when you tune in about people complaining about high petrol prices, high fuel costs, and no end in sight as to that stopping anytime soon. And on top of that, there have also been attacks against the United Arab Emirates in the last 24 hours. These are the first attacks since the ceasefire was signed last month. Drones and missiles calling the escalation an unacceptable transgression. That's the statement from the UAE. But this is certainly something that shows that there is a lot of confusion and both sides are pretty much not very close to coming to any kind of an agreement.
Yeah, that ceasefire is coming ever more under threat, isn't it?
That's true. Donald Trump has been quoted by Fox News saying that he is still ready to, as I say, or quote, blow Iran off the face of the earth if necessary. Neither side appears ready to go back to the drawing boards to try to work out some kind of a ceasefire. Both appear to be in a pretty defensive mood, but it's not in their interest to keep this going. I don't think anybody really wants to return to conflict. The Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, he's seen pretty much as a moderate in the Iranian regime. He said there was no military solution to this conflict going on right now, and that Project Freedom that was designed by Donald Trump and Donald Trump wants to get this up and running should be called Project Deadlock. It's not going to help in any way trying to find a solution to what's going on in Iran. And there have also been many world leaders who've jumped on to say that there has to be a diplomatic solution to all of this. The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, the French President Emmanuel Macron, the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, even Saudi Arabia saying we need diplomatic efforts to reach a political solution. So certainly the pressure is being stacked on both the Iranians on one side and on the Americans on the other.
With these tit-for-tat attacks, there are still discussions between both sides. They're still continuing, aren't they?
Well, that is true. Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister of Iran, says that discussions with Pakistan are still carrying on. Donald Trump has even said that Iran is easier going now in the discussions and that increased tension had not affected the negotiations between both sides. France and other members of Europe have said, of course, they're ready to intervene with this coalition of the willing once there is a solution to all of this to help guide shipping in and out of the Strait of Hormuz to make sure that there are no more threats of any clashes taking place. So there is some hope that this can move forward. I think there is pressure because oil stocks are beginning to look as though they may be limited. Certainly refined oil is looking maybe a little bit more rare in the months to come, and that's something that no country wants to have to deal with because that would be a serious blow to the economy. So the pressure is stacking on both sides. But for the moment, no one wants to back down, neither the United States nor the Iranians. They both want to be seen as victors in this situation. A reminder that before this war was declared on the 28th of February, the Strait of Hormuz was open and there was no problem as far as the traffic of military traffic was concerned going through there.